Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is R.S. Raghu bringing glimpses of major developments of the day from across the globe. The headlines. Defence Minister of India Rajnath Singh says India is committed to resolve the border issue with China in a fair and peaceful manner. Trump says US will start distributing COVID-19 vaccine to its citizens in mid-October. India welcomes the Abraham Accord while reiterating its support for the Palestinian cause. European Commission President calls for significant cut in EU's emissions to at least by 55% by 2030. And in sports, Australia clinches series with third ODI victory against England at Old Trafford. Defence Minister of India Rajnath Singh said that India is committed to resolve the current border issue with China through a fair and peaceful manner, but at the same time the country is also prepared to deal with all contingencies. He said China is trying to change the status quo at the line of actual control, which is unacceptable to India at any condition.
Chinese actions reflect disregard to various bilateral agreements, and amassing of the troops by China goes against the 1993 and 1996 agreements. China continues to be in illegal occupation of around 38,000 square kilometers in Ladakh, and Pakistan illegally ceded 5,180 square kilometers of Indian territory in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir to China. Both sides have accepted that peace is essential for bilateral ties.
Government of India has set up an expert committee under its National Cyber Security Coordinator to study reports released earlier this week which said that a China-based company is mining data and snooping on hundreds of Indian politicians and leaders. A report.
Sources in the government have confirmed that the expert committee will study the reports on data mining and snooping, evaluate their implications, assess any violations of law, and submit its recommendations within 30 days. A media report published in a leading daily earlier this week stated that a Shenzhen-based company, Zhenhua Data Information Technology, has been keeping tabs over 10,000 Indian individuals and organizations in its global database. Sources have said that the Indian Foreign Ministry has also raised the issue of alleged spying on prominent Indians with the Chinese ambassador yesterday. China reportedly has said that Shenhua is a private company and has made it clear its position publicly.
Trump administration has unveiled its COVID-19 vaccine delivery plan, which entails administering the drug to all U.S. citizens free of charge. U.S. government believes the COVID-19 vaccine will be available as soon as January, and the distribution plans are outlined in two documents released by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the U.S. Department of Defense. Contradicting the chief of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, Trump said the U.S. could start distributing a vaccine starting in mid-October.
We're on track to deliver and distribute the vaccine in a very, very safe and effective manner. We think we can start sometime in October. So as soon as it is announced, we'll be able to start. That'll be from mid-October on. We've manufactured all of the necessary supplies so that as soon as the FDA approves the vaccine, and as you know, we're very close to that, we'll be able to distribute at least 100 million vaccine doses by the end of 2020.
The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has said that the bloc should significantly toughen its emissions cutting target to at least 55% by 2030. Ms. von der Leyen suggested that 30% of the bloc's €750 billion coronavirus recovery package should be raised through green bonds.
The planet continued to get dangerously hotter. We longed for green spaces and clean air, for our mental health and our physical well-being. We know change is needed, and we also know it is possible. The European Green Deal is our blueprint to make that transformation. At the heart of it is our mission to become the first climate-neutral continent in 2050. The European Commission is proposing to increase the 2030 targets for emission reduction to at least 55%.
US Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden said that UK must honour the Northern Irish peace deal as it withdraws itself from the European Union, or there would be no US trade deal. The Internal Market Bill is aimed at ensuring that Britain's 4 constituent nations can trade freely with one another after leaving the EU. But according to the government, that would require overriding part of the withdrawal treaty Britain signed with the EU. The bill, which began its journey through Parliament this week, has also caused an uproar in Britain. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. Wishes pour in from world leaders on India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 70th birthday. The heads of state of Russia, UK, Germany, Nepal, Bhutan, Finland, amongst others, extended their heartfelt felicitations to PM Modi. 10th meeting of the BRICS High Representatives on National Security chaired by Russia is underway via video link today. The national security advisors of the BRICS nations will deliberate upon the issues related to the strengthening political security and cooperation among the 5 countries. During present geopolitical situation, it assumes even greater importance, especially in Asian continent. A report from the Prasar Bharati special correspondent in Beijing.
China said that it is ready to work with other BRICS members for positive outcomes of today's NSA's meeting and deepening mutual strategic trust in political security. However, it chose to ignore India's sensitivity on Pakistan's vicious agenda to show a fictitious map during SCO-NSA's meeting on Tuesday, which was in violation of SCO Charter. India, Russia and China are members of BRICS, SCO and RIC, all of them acting as platform for mutual trust building and cooperation. However, China preferred to favor its all-weather friend Pakistan's act, which has the potential of vitiating the atmosphere at SCO. As chair of this year's BRICS and SCO, Russia noted India's objection to Pakistan's behavior. Anshuman Mishra for World News, All India Radio, Beijing.
India on Thursday welcomed the Abraham Accord involving Israel, UAE and Bahrain while continuing its support for the Palestinian cause. Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson in a virtual media brief said India has always supported peace and stability in West Asia.
We have followed the Abraham Accords, which was signed in Washington, D.C. between Israel, UAE, Bahrain and the US. India has always supported peace and stability in West Asia, which is our extended neighborhood. As such, we welcome these agreements for normalization of relations between Israel and UAE and Bahrain. We also continue our traditional support for the Palestinian cause and hope for early resumption of direct negotiations for an acceptable two-state solution.
Describing the coronavirus as the #1 global security threat facing the world today, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said that nations need to come together to provide vital treatment to suppress transmission and save lives over the next year. He was speaking to the press at the opening of the 75th session of the General Assembly.
In this 75th anniversary year, we face our own 1945 moment. We must meet that moment, and we must show unity like never before to overcome today's emergency, get the world moving and working and prospering again, and uphold the vision of the Charter.
Moving on to sports, in cricket, Australia defeated England in the 3rd ODI at Old Trafford to win the series 2-1. Glenn Maxwell's 108 ensured Australia a win over the hosts. In tennis, Rafael Nadal cruised past compatriot Pablo Carreño Busta while Serbian Novak Djokovic beat Salvatore Caruso of Italy in straight sets in the Italian Open in Rome. Now let's have a look at the global COVID-19 figures. The number of coronavirus infected cases has crossed 29.74 million worldwide. In India, the total number of recoveries has reached over 4 million and recovery rates improves to 78.64%. India is celebrating the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to Vaishnava Jan by artists from Croatia. And with that, we end this bulletin. See you at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.